Hey everyone, I've come back and I'm just going to show you what a mess I have made. So if you've never seen these grid sheets before, Stampin' Up! Sell them in a big pad, and I'm just going to pull in a new one so that my desk doesn't look so trashed. The grid pad has metric on one side and imperial measurements on the other side. So depending where you are, you can either use centimetres or inches. Now, I work in both, but most of the time centimetres. Now, another thing I'm going to show you again is my Stampin' Chamois. And I purposely didn't wash these stamps that I've used because I've finished the card now, and I'll show you in a minute. I always keep it in a box, one of the clear mounts cases, and a lovely friend of mine, Narelle Fasulo, who's also a demonstrator, just showed this morning a awesome tip, which I'm going to copy you. Hi, Narelle. And I did keep this in a DVD, this clear mount size case, but I've swapped it over into the wood mount case because you can keep a spritzer bottle in there. Now, when I went to get this out this morning, I hadn't used it for a while because I've been using my Stampin' Scrubber, but it was bone dry and like a rock. So I've soaked it, it's nice and wet again, and then I've got an empty spritzer which I've just put water in, and it can go anywhere with me now. And this can, see, I just add a bit more water to it, keep it damp, and that fits in there and the lid closes. So I'm just going to show you again how awesome it is. See how dirty this was? I'm not sure if you can see, it's covered in Blackberry Bliss, but you'll see it. Look at that. All nice and clean. See? Now I'll just take that off. See, this one's still got Blackberry Bliss on it. Nice and clean. Look how much ink gets on there. Nice and clean. So that's a tip from Narelle Fasulo. She's another awesome demonstrator, and this is a really good idea. My house tends to get a bit dry, so it's perfect. Thanks, Narelle. Now, on to my finished card. How about this? Isn't that beautiful? I'll turn it sideways a little bit and bring it up closer so you can see. I'll turn it around. What I have used to cut these shapes out and layer is a Thinlits set of dies that match the blended blooms, blended seasons rather, stamp set. Now, that is also only available to the end of August. And they have the most gorgeous dies. I actually keep mine inside the case with the stamp that it matches. I'll just show you. And I keep it on a piece of magnetic sheet. So look at that, 1, 2, 3 frames. Not only do they cut out and stitch the edges of your cutout, they will leave a stitched edge on the piece that you've cut from. I hope you can see that. So you're getting 2 for 1, if you know what I mean. And you've got the flowers and everything, and that beautiful bow that I used on my blue card earlier. So that's another little tip. I'll just put those away. Now, the stamp set I kept using was this Very Vintage Hostess set, or host set, because we do have guys that love to stamp. And I just repeated with that beautiful sprig of flowers onto the smaller cutout. I've layered it on Blackberry Bliss, lifted it a little so it's 3D. Can you see that? I've used Stampin' Dimensionals. Now, I'm sorry, this ribbon is no longer available, but I buy it in bulk from the United States. It's white silk seam binding, and many of you have seen me use this to dye it the colours that I want. So I get it in 100 yard or about 99 metre rolls, There's last week's card. As you can see, I didn't scrunch this one, and this week's card is not scrunched. But I also used a little bit of silver thread and tied that and stuck my bow on with a glue dot. The sentiment in the center also comes from this stamp set. You're a blessing. So does that gorgeous little bumblebee. Now I fussy cut that out. If you want this set, remember, $250 or more in sales, and you can purchase it at a discounted price, or maybe even earn it for free with Stampin' Rewards. So that is my project for this week. I hope you like it. Oh, one last thing. How did I get that cut out? That is the punch from the tin of punch set. Now, here it is. Remember this tin? Yes, I took the punch out of there and cut it out. And then I layered it onto a piece of scrap Blackberry Bliss and trimmed it down. And to make the corners match, I just grabbed a little circle punch and I snipped the corners in. I kind of measured halfway through and snipped the corners in like this to end up with a matching curve in there. So I hope you like what I've created this week. The Blackberry Bliss is certainly a stunning and rich colour. It's in the Regals range of colour family. So thank you for joining me. Don't forget to check back often. I always have lots of things to share, and I'll have even more when my next delivery arrives. Happy stamping and creating, and thanks for joining me for Fabulous Fridays at 5. Bye-bye for now.